Hey brothers and sisters, I've got a lot of stuff going on and I'm going to be reading a lot, so I didn't want to put my face up on the screen so that you would be looking at the top of my head. So my last video, it ended, I didn't know it at the time, but it ended at 24:44. So that's 2444, which made me remember that last night I had watched Soldiers for Christ. Pastor Sandy, he did a video on 444 Damascus, 3 days of Saul being blind after he met the Lord, and the significance of 444 and Jesus. So then 2444 is a 2 times 444, which is 888, which is also Jesus. Plus 2444 is Matthew 24, verse 44, which says to be ready at all times for Jesus. And also in that Matthew 24, I don't think I did a video on this, but the other day I was driving down the road and I guess I was stopped in traffic along the Chattahoochee River, and a what we call a buzzard, but it's also called a vulture. In the Bible it's called a vulture and an eagle, but I believe that sometimes it's mistranslated as eagle because generally speaking vultures are carrion eaters. They eat dead things, and eagles rarely do that. Eagles normally eat things that are alive. So, but when this vulture came, it came and landed on a fence beside my car, a split rail fence, right near where the Chattahoochee River's historical markers are at Roswell Road or Atlanta Highway, and I guess the road is, I think it's Azalea Road that runs alongside the Chattahoochee River. And so it's very unusual because this massive bird comes and lands on the split rail fence, and of course I'm thinking that's not the way you normally see them, but also that is Matthew 24 verse 28, if you want to look up Matthew 24 again. Okay, so, and Kim Mosley also had a real weird vulture sighting where it was just unusual because the vultures usually, they're either circling up in the air or they're actually on the ground eating something when you drive by, and they get up and they fly away. Okay, also in my last video, I looked up, for some reason, the proclamation was 1445, but I looked up Greek 1442, which means seventh, the result of God's perfect finished work. And in the Hebrew, 1442 is to revile, blaspheme, cut off, or wound. Now, I don't know why I looked that up, but I did then, after I got off the video, I did check it, and it is the National Day of Prayer, Fasting, and Repentance. What in 1918 was Proclamation 1445, and 1445 means a Jew or a Hebrew. Okay, then I went and looked into the full moon timing. So the full moon on January 31st is going to be at 8:26 a.m. in Atlanta. But the fullest part of the moon is going to be after the moon has already set. So the moon is setting in the morning on January 31st at 7:35 in the morning. So the actual, where it's the fullest, is going to be after the moon has already set, and I believe that that is the same for the lunar eclipse, but I haven't really researched that. I think we're going to see a partial lunar eclipse here in Atlanta early in the morning before it sets at 7:35. So I haven't done the stuff about the actual lunar eclipse. But anyway, then that night, like I noticed tonight when I went on a walk, the moon, we call it the children's moon. The children's moon is when you can see the moon during the day, and that happens every month around the time of the full moon, because the more full the moon is, the easier it is to spot when it's there in the daytime. And of course the moon is up in the daytime many times, but we can't see it because of the brightness of the sun. But once it gets to be towards its fullness, you can see it. So I was on a walk, I guess about 5 or 5:30, and I could definitely see the near full moon. So on January 31st, Wednesday, the moon in Atlanta is going to rise at 6:32 p.m., which I'm just thinking about because I had my last rapture dream. I was at the church parking lot of my new church, and I am actually going to be at the church for a Revelation Bible study on Wednesday night, which would then fit with my rapture dream, is that I see the full moon. So this would be the full moon on the night of the 31st, not the one on the morning that was the blood moon, but on the night of the 31st, I was at the church, I saw a full moon, and I'm looking at it, and all of a sudden it shoots down from the sky and disappears, and the rapture begins with us being in this white room, and that the room itself is being elevated, and the room being all white fits in with Rhonda Empson seeing the white, and then the Book of Life that she read out of. Also, Melissa at Midnight Hour Oil had done, her video had to do about the bees, and I went back to look, and I had a rapture dream where I had flown up and had the bees sting all over me. It's one of my early on videos. The bees stung all over me, and then I came down and I was supposed to testify as to the rapture coming, and the verse was 1 Corinthians, I think 15:55, which is 1:555, which is, "O death, where is thou sting?" So that was interesting. So then, when I was on my walk, I decided, I haven't done this in a long time, I went to my Amazon Music. I listen to Amazon Music. I've got playlists of my going home songs and my pump up songs, but I went to go look at my purchased music. So when you buy a CD on Amazon, they put it into your purchased music so that you can listen to it. Even though you're not listening to the CD, you can listen to it on your Amazon Music. So I'm walking and I'm listening to some songs that I haven't heard in a long time from the Gettys, Gettys. I think it's Keith and Kristen Getty, and they're from Ireland, which I thought was interesting because of finding John Piper, Piper, from Ireland in 1869, which was the year that Frederick Trump was born, on Passover, which was March 14th of 1869. So this is President Trump's grandfather, who married Elizabeth Christ. He was born on Passover in 1869, and John Piper in 1869 released a book about Passover, and I haven't read the book, but it's he's an Irish, it's called the Irish Temperance League Journal. And of course, John Piper is one who was early on about what God has to say about divorce and remarriage. Anyway, I was listening to the Gettys album, and there are 2 songs on there that really have great, well, all of their songs have really biblical lyrics, but I was listening to "Speak, O Lord," and Hear the Call of the Kingdom. Hear the Call of the Kingdom. And I just wrote down some of the lyrics of Hear the Call of the Kingdom. Children of light, walking justly, loving all that is right, filled with passion, power to proclaim. Well, suddenly I noticed, oh, because I sent a text to my daughters like, hey, y'all can use my Amazon purchased music to listen to music, and if you haven't heard these Getty songs, they would be really good to listen to. And I happened to notice, and I don't put this past God. I believe God can definitely make these kinds of details. I have purchased over the years in my Amazon purchased music 155 songs. That's 155 songs, and you're not. I believe it. That makes 11 hours and 11 minutes. 11. That's how much music I have purchased on Amazon. 11 hours and 11 minutes. 155 songs. So then I go to the 155th song, and the title of the song is from a Andrew Lloyd Webber music CD that I got because my kids used to really like to listen to this CD. It had P.A. Yesu, Sarah Brightman. It had the Coat of Many Colors from Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat. But anyway, the 155th song is High Flying Adored. Now, I listened to the song, and it is so funny because the song is not true about me. It's all about this woman, and she's a loose woman and all these stuff, and the guy is saying, you're doomed, you're all that, all this. And then the woman sings the last verse, and she says, I was at the right place at the perfect time. I believe I'm at the right place at the perfect time, God's perfect timing, and high flying, adored. I feel adored by the Lord. I do. I feel adored. I think y'all are adored. We're adored by the Lord. High flying at the right place at the perfect time. I think that's just amazing. I also thought, I wonder what the 113th song, because that would be 113 or 311 backwards, which, we've been looking at 311, and then 11/3 is also my birthday is 11/3. Not my rebirth day, but my birthday of being born here is 11/3. Well, the funny thing is, it is a song called Broken Girl from Mathew West on an album called Story of Your Life. And I was the broken girl, and I do try to help other broken girls get healed. So I thought that was really interesting. And then I went to the 111 song, 111. It also has the title Broken. It's All the Broken Pieces by Mathew West on his album called Something to Say. Now the weird thing was, this is 113 and 111, and so they should have been from the same album, but for some reason they're not. So I have 11/3 Broken Girl and 11/1 All the Broken Pieces, and Story of Your Life album and Something to Say album. I thought this was just really pretty amazing. And of course, now when I see 111, I think Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and I also think fear of the Lord, because a website that I use called Bible Numbers for Life, 111 means fear of the Lord. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so then next, I wanted to mention, because I forgot to put this in my last video. I had seen this on one of the videos that I included in the description box. Born for Battle 74. He had pointed this out. I think this is really quite amazing. you know how we know on Trump's first day in office, he was 70 years old, 7 months, and 7 days, right? Well, guess what? On his on this January 31st, Trump is going to be 71, 7 months, and 17 days. So that is a 71717. So it's like a 17, a 7, and a 17, which is really quite amazing because that's victory. And then 7 months is like the 7 churches plus the beginning of judgments, all the 7 judgments. He also pointed out that, which is another amazing thing, Obama's inauguration to January 31st is 9 years, 11 days. So that's a 9/11. Obama's viewing of the Dead Sea Scrolls in Israel was in 2013 to January 31st is 1,777 days. So, so there's also, if you look back at the Trump's age, that is, he put it in the order of days, months, and years. If you do it that way, then you end up with 17771. So there you've got a 1 with 777 and a 1 for Trump. And then for Obama, you've got 1777. And he said that means, if you look at that too, that, and the way he put it is that Obama is the 6th king and the 8th king, and then Trump is the 7th king in the middle. So that was all very interesting. I went back to put in a comment on Pastor Sandy's video, and I noticed that he had 4,000.4 views, which was interesting. And I didn't realize, I still haven't finished that video, but he says that Jesus was betrayed on a blue moon, and that blue moon actually means betrayed. Blue means betrayed, it's the word for betrayed, and that Judas betrayed Jesus on a blue moon. Okay, so then I decided to turn on the news, and I hadn't watched the news all day, and I saw that the news had found a typo in the invitation to the State of the Union address. It says, and you know, who looks at the invitations? We don't get any invitations, so we don't look at them, right? But there it said, the 115th State of the Union was not spelled union, it was spelled unium, U-N-I-O-M. So they'd made an error, they were showing a close-up of it, and it's going to be corrected, and anybody who has an old invitation will not be admitted. But also then, you know, I hadn't turned on the news, so I did not know about the Andrew McCabe thing, and I took off on the Andrew McCabe. I hadn't thought of, you know, I know what's been going on, but I hadn't paid any attention, and for some reason I went off on this chase after Andrew McCabe's Gematria. And I don't know if anybody else has done this. When I was searching on the Gematria, it didn't say that anyone else has saved his name. But let me just tell you, I figured out the numbers for his name in his Gematria for his name Andrew McCabe, and also for his full name, which is Andrew George McCabe. Okay, and let me just read you what the Gematria says. So for Andrew McCabe, just Andrew McCabe, it means inexperienced, family generation, a wrong, injury, crime, misdeed. So that's for Andrew McCabe, 552, 1074, and 92. And while I was searching this, Psalm 92 popped up. Well, this morning I was on the phone talking to my friend. By the way, her son just got baptized yesterday. Woohoo! I was telling her about the importance of reading Psalm 92 through 94. I know a lot of people have been reading Psalm 91 for some reason, but for some reason I told her this morning, need to read Psalm 92 through 94. And I'll get back, I'm going to get back, I'll come back to that in a minute. So then also for the Gematria for Andrew George McCabe. And by the way, the first thing I think of when I heard McCabe today, for some reason, when I heard that he had stepped down, the first thing I thought about was the Maccabees. And I don't know that much about the Maccabees. And Reverend Gary, I think Gary is his name, on my channel, he put in a comment about some additional messages that he's received from God about the next few days that are very interesting. But anyway, get this. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Andrew George McCabe means wormwood, slanderous, which is the word diabolos, which is the root word of devil, and shame. Shame. Wormwood, slanderous, root of the devil, shame. That is his name. The Greek of 894, 1228, and 149. So, yeah. Andrew McCabe, that's the meaning of... Now, I have not looked into what the meaning of Andrew is or anything like that, but of course we know Andrew was one of the disciples. But also I think of Hurricane Andrew as one of the most destructive hurricanes, and it was in 1992, the year that my son was born. He was born on the 19th, and I think it was around that same time. Okay, so back to the Word of God. So Psalm 92. And I thought it was interesting that I pointed out Psalm 92 and then George Andrew McCabe in the simple Gematria is 92, a wrong, injury, crime, or misdeed. So I'm just going to, these are fairly short, I'm just going to read these Psalms and praise them out to God. It is good to give thanks to the Lord, to sing praises to the Most High. It is good to proclaim your unfailing love in the morning, your faithfulness in the evening, accompanied by a 10-stringed instrument, a harp, and the melody of a lyre. You thrill me, Lord, with all you have done for me. I'm pretty thrilled about even just what I've done today. I sing for joy because of what you have done. And y'all do know I love to sing. O Lord, what great works you do. How deep are your thoughts. Only a simpleton would not know. Only a fool would not understand this. Really. Why? This is amazing what he's showing us. How could, you'd have to be foolish not to look at this stuff. Though the wicked sprout like weeds and evildoers flourish, they will be destroyed forever. But you, O Lord, will be exalted forever. Your enemies, Lord, will surely perish. All evildoers will be scattered. But you have made me as strong as a wild ox. You have anointed me with the finest oil. My eyes have seen the downfall of my enemies. My ears have heard the defeat of my wicked opponents. But the godly will flourish like palm trees. There's another trees thing, and we're talking about the beginning of the trees, the new year of trees, the almond tree. Plus, I've been thinking about a lot of people, or at least what I'm seeing is in my situation is a lot of people keep thinking that that I'm supposed to be able to get good fruit out of a evil tree, out of a bad tree. And Jesus says no. He creates the bad trees too, and the bad trees, you cannot get good fruit out of them. So just because you keep on sharing the gospel, does not change the person into a good tree. So what about, the Bible says, if they refuse to listen to you, if they've refused to listen to the gospel, walk away. Remove your blessing from them and wipe the dust from your feet. So I think it's misplaced where these people think that, well, if they hear it just one more time, surely they're going to convert. I think if you've done it for a while, it's time to wipe the dust from your feet and move on. Okay, so the godly will flourish like palm trees, will grow strong like the cedars of Lebanon, for they are transplanted to the Lord's own house. We are about to be transplanted to the Lord's own house. They will flourish in the courts of our God. Even in old age they will produce fruit. They will remain vital and green. They will declare, this is what we're going to be doing for eternity, the Lord is just, He is my rock, there is no evil in Him. So that was Psalm 92. Here's Psalm 93. The Lord is King, He is robed in majesty. Indeed, the Lord is robed in majesty and armed with strength. This world stands firm. The world stands firm and cannot be shaken. He's keeping everything. Everything is only able to continue as long as He decides. Your throne, O Lord, has stood from time immemorial, for you yourself are from everlasting past. The floods have risen up, O Lord, the floods have roared like thunder, the floods have lifted their pounding waves, but mightier than the violent raging of the seas, mightier than the breakers on the shore, the Lord above is mightier than these. Your royal laws cannot be changed. You reign, O Lord. Your reign, O Lord, is holy forever and ever. Your royal laws cannot be changed. Why are people trying to argue with God's laws? His laws are good. His laws are very good. Okay, now here's Psalm 94. This is another thing a lot of Christians don't want to think about, but I'm going to read it because this is true. O Lord, the God of vengeance, O God of vengeance, let your glorious justice shine forth. Arise, O Judge of the earth, give the proud what they deserve. How long, O Lord? Isn't that what we're all waiting for? We're waiting for God's justice to take us out of here. How long, O Lord? How long will the wicked be allowed to gloat? How long will they speak with arrogance? How long will these evil people boast? They crush your people, Lord, hurting those you claim as your own. They kill widows and foreigners and murder orphans. The Lord isn't looking, they say, and besides, the God of Israel doesn't care. Think again, you fools. When will you finally catch on? I think they're going to catch on when we depart. Is He deaf, the one who made your ears? Is He blind, the one who formed your eyes? He punishes the nations. Won't He also punish you? He knows everything. Doesn't He also know what you're doing? The Lord knows people's thoughts. He knows they are worthless. Joyful are those you discipline, Lord, those you teach with your instructions. You give them relief from troubled times until a pit is dug to capture the wicked. The Lord will not reject His people. He will not abandon His special possession. Judgment will again be founded on justice, and those with virtuous hearts will pursue it. Who will protect me from the wicked? Who will stand up for me against the evildoers? Unless the Lord had helped me, I would soon have settled in the silence of the grave. I cried out, I am slipping. But your unfailing love, O Lord, supported me. When doubts filled my mind, your comfort gave me renewed hope and cheer. This is where the broken girl song, and I was broken, and He has done so much for me. His unfailing love has supported me. His comfort has given me renewed hope and cheer. Okay, so now I'm at verse 20 of Psalm 94. Can unjust leaders claim that God is on their side? Leaders who decrees permit injustice? By the way, tonight that bill that was passed by the House in the Senate, they denied it being passed, about how there should not be any abortions after the baby is able to feel the pain of the murder. I'm hoping that the Senate, but isn't that sad? That makes God sad. It really does. We have a Senate that won't even pass something that seems so simple. So simple. Oh, goodness. Can unjust leaders claim that God is on their side? Leaders whose decrees permit injustice? Wow. I just got to think about that again. Leaders who permit all of these baby murders all these years. Oh. They gang up against the righteous. You know, those babies are going to be martyrs in heaven, by the way. They gang up against the righteous and condemn the innocent to death. Whew, I haven't read this, y'all. This is just powerful. But the Lord is my fortress. My God is the mighty rock where I hide. God will turn the sins of evil people back on them. He will destroy them for their sins. For the Lord our God will destroy them. Now, is there anything wrong with praying a psalm out loud and claiming God's vengeance? No, God expects his people to hate the same things that he hates. He gives, many times he says what he hates. So, that's just where I am. There's just so much stuff. I felt like I better come on quick and put up a video because there's just so much going on. And I probably have left out something else too. But anyway, hope that helps you. And if you're on your research and you find something, I would love to hear from you. Put it in the comments. All right, I love y'all. Have a good night. Bye-bye.